Okay, so in our previous video, we looked at what a function actually was. This video, we're going to be learning how to evaluate a function. Functions can take many different forms. So let's look at the ones that we had in the previous video. Okay, so we saw in the previous video that this is a function. So if it is a function, you can give it a name, and the most common name that's used is f. So what f does is it maps a in the domain to 1 in the range. And so we would represent that by saying f takes a into 1. And so this is pronounced f of a equals 1. So that is not a multiplication. That is not f times a. It's f evaluated at a equals 1. The shorthand way to say that is f of a equals 1. But f evaluated at a equals 1. If my function is given to me like this, and I can do that because this is a function, then if you're asked what is f evaluated at b, well, when it's like this, what f does is it always maps the first coordinate into the second coordinate. So f evaluated at a equals 1. If you were asked what is f evaluated at b, I can see f takes b in the first coordinate and maps it to 2. Okay. If you had something like this, and we've concluded yes, it is a function because none of these are repeated, and you're asked what is f of c, okay, well, f will map the top row into the corresponding value in the second row. So f evaluated at c is equal to 3. Okay, so we have all these different types of ways that we could present a function. And by the way, that's not the only way that we can present a function. So again, we saw in the last video this was a function, so now I'm going to call it g, just to distinguish it from f. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to write down, copy this down, or pause the video and copy this down, because then we're going to ask a quiz question. At the moment in time, I cannot post anything like this into the quiz questions. Well, I could probably give it to you in that form. Okay, and so I'm going to call this G, and so take your quiz question now. Okay, so what is G evaluated at Jill? Well, where does G take Jill to? G takes Jill to A. What if I'm looking at this? What is G evaluated at Jill? Well, G maps the first into the second. So G evaluated at Jill is equal to A. What if I'd had this presentation? What does G map Jill into? I can see that G will take Jill into A. So G of Jill is equal to A. Now notice this is not a function, so we cannot represent that with a letter, because if I tried to represent that, say, with an H, and the question was, what is H evaluated at mammal? Well, I could see that H of mammal is equal to cow, but it's also can be equal to dog. And we can't have that. We can only have one value for something in the domain, and here it has two possibilities. So this was not a function, so we couldn't write it that way. Okay, so I'm going to give one more test question, quiz question, and then that will end the video.